We take a look at some of the best places to visit in Portugal, from opulent castles and medieval villages to rolling vineyards and volcanic islands. Portugal is one of the oldest countries in Europe, and it has a long, complicated history, as well as dramatic landscapes, beautiful beaches, interesting museums, and delicious food. But it also has some surprises, like natural springs, a village made of rocks, and a chapel made of human bones, to name a few. Here are some of the best places to go if you find yourself in this lively country. But before we start our countdown, please subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon as well. 1. The Algarve's beaches. The Algarve region is in the south of Portugal. It has more than 100 beautiful beaches along its 155 kilometers of golden coastline. It's no surprise that this is one of the best places in Portugal to visit if you want to surf. Praia do Amado on the coast of Vicentina is the most famous place to surf in the country. It is often the site of international bodyboarding and surfing competitions. During low tide, families like to come here to see the dramatic sand dunes, cliffs, and rock pools. Nearby, Praia da Bordeira is a long, wide beach with dramatic limestone cliffs, swaths of sand dunes, and 3 kilometers of sand. It is a popular place for nature lovers. On the other hand, Praia do Amoreira, which is just outside of the town of Algesur, has a lot of starfish-filled rock pools that keep kids busy. Praia do Martinho, just outside of Sagres, is a good place to go if you want to chill out. This beach is out in the middle of nowhere, and behind the rolling dunes are a number of popular seafood restaurants. 2. Sintra's palaces and castles. Some of Portugal's most beautiful palaces and castles are on the forested hills of Sintra, which is not far from Lisbon. The lavish and colorful Palácio de Pena is probably the most beautiful of them all. The impressive castle is one of the 7 wonders of Portugal. It is known for its extravagant romantic style, which mixes Gothic, Moorish, and Renaissance architecture. In the 1800s, Ferdinand II had the castle built as a summer home for the Portuguese royal family. But it is still used for important events today. The best preserved royal palace from the Middle Ages in Portugal is the Palácio Nacional de Sintra. It has some of the most famous conical chimneys, columns, and hand-painted tiles from the 15th century on its outside. The Moorish Castelo dos Moros, which dates back to the 9th century and has high stone walls and towers, is also in good shape. 3. The wineries in the Rio Douro Valley. The valley of the River Douro is known for making port and other wines. It is one of the most beautiful places to visit in Portugal. People come from all over the world to this beautiful UNESCO World Heritage Site to drink wine and look at the hillsides covered in vineyards. If you take a road trip, you can stop at the wineries and maybe even spend the night at one of the winemaking estates. But be careful, because the roads here are twisty and often very steep. You can also take a train along the Linha do Douro, which connects Porto, Paço de Aragua, and other towns. It is one of the most beautiful train lines in Europe. If you want a slower-paced adventure, you can take one of the many cruises that go up and down the river. Along the way, these often stop at places like Mateus Palace, Sé Cathedral, and Bolho Market. 4. The Parque Natural de Serra da Estrela. The Parque Natural de Serra da Estrela is a great place to go hiking because of its rough, mountainous terrain. The park covers more than 1,000 square meters and is Portugal's oldest and largest protected area. It has rocky meadows, rivers and waterfalls that flow quickly, terraced fields, and icy lakes. Here you can also find Torre, the tallest mountain in the country, which stands at 1,993 meters. There are many hiking trails in the area, like the one from Covel to Torre, which is a popular route. On the way up to the rocky gorges, you can see casas, which are traditional one-room stone shepherd huts with straw roofs. Since the 12th century, Covel has been the most important place in Iberia for making wool. The Wool Museum is a good place to learn about its history. With its cobblestone streets and cute homes, the mountain town of Montegas is also a great place to start exploring this beautiful area. 5. The vibrant capital, Lisbon. The famous capital of Portugal is one of the most beautiful cities in Europe and has some of the country's most well-known landmarks. Some of these are the São Jorge Castle from the 1100s and the Torre de Belém from the 1600s. As you walk along the cobblestone streets, you will see beautiful plazas with mosaic tiles, castles from fairy tales, and Gothic monasteries. Lisbon is one of the most popular places to visit in Portugal because it has such beautiful buildings. Take the 45-meter-high elevador de Santa Justa to the city's highest point for a great view of the city. You could also take the elevador de Gloria, an old wooden tram that takes you to the Miradoro de São Pedro de Alcântara, a beautiful garden with a lookout point. You can also take in the sights by riding one of the famous yellow trams, eating a Portuguese custard tart in a patisserie, or listening to Sad Fathers singers on a patio restaurant. 6. The Venice of Portugal, Aveiro. Aveiro is a beautiful city in Portugal that is often called the Venice of Portugal because of its beautiful canals, colorful gondolas, and Art Nouveau architecture. This real fishing district is on the edge of the big Ria de Aveiro lagoon and has a lot of religious buildings. These include the Cathedral of Aveiro, with its tall bell tower, and the Convento de Jesus, which was built in the 15th century and has a beautiful marble tomb. The best way to see the town and the São Jacinto Nature Reserve on the salt marshes is to ride on one of the traditional seaweed gathering maliceiros. Aveiro salt is known for its high quality and great taste. 7. The 9 islands of the Azores. The Azores are in the Atlantic Ocean, about 1,500 kilometers west of Lisbon. They are a group of 9 volcanic islands with green pastures and one of the best marine habitats in the world. About a third of the whale and dolphin species in the world stop at the archipelago. Because of this, it is one of the most important places for nature lovers to visit in Portugal. Even though the islands are a great place to dive, hike, and do water sports, whale and dolphin watching is what they are best known for. All year long, you can see sperm whales, common dolphins, and bottlenose dolphins moving through on their way to other places. Between April and June, blue whales, humpback whales, and orcas have also been seen in these waters. From the larger islands, there are a number of boat tours that give visitors the chance to learn about the area's rich marine life from marine biologists and naturalists. 8. The boulder village of Monsanto. The village of Monsanto looks like it could be from the Lord of the Rings. It is on top of the steep mountain of Mons Sanctuzan in Barra Baixa. It is known for its huge granite boulders, which have been used as floors, walls, and even roofs in buildings as early as 1174. The village hasn't changed much in the last few hundred years because it is a living museum. There are also the ruins of the castle of Monsanto, which was built in the Middle Ages. The village is also home to the Casa de uma só tela, which means the house with only one tile. Its roof is made up of a single piece of granite. Visitors can enjoy a breathtaking 360-degree view of the surrounding countryside. 9. Porto's wine cellars. You can't go to Portugal without going to the city that gave its name to port wine, the country's most famous export. Porto is the second largest city in Portugal. It is at the mouth of the Rio Douro and is a popular cultural and entertainment center that rivals Lisbon. It has an interesting mix of medieval relics, fancy churches, and wine cellars where you can taste the wine. Along the Douro River, there are a lot of wine cellars to choose from. Almost all of them offer tours with a guide and different port wines to try. Callum is one of the most well-known cellars, and it offers a unique fado concert. Fado is the traditional music of Portugal. Taylor's, on the other hand, has a modern museum and a beautiful terrace with a great view of the city. The Espaço Porta Cruz has a multimedia center, workshops, and tastings of chocolate and cheese. 10. Évora's Chapel of Bones. Évora is one of Portugal's best preserved medieval towns. It is at the foot of a mountain range in the wine region of Alentejo. It is also home to the 16th century Capela dos Ossos. The macabre monument is where thousands of bodies were put to rest after being dug up from the city's graveyards in the 1600s. It is thought that about 5,000 skeletons are stuck to the walls. It's not for people who are easily scared, but it's one of the most memorable places to visit in Portugal. The Chapel of Bones is part of the Igreja de São Francisco, a white church complex that you can't miss. It is between the Jardim Público and the Praça de Geraldo. During the Spanish Inquisition, the second one was used as a horrible place to kill people. It is a good place to start your tour of Évora, though. From here, you can walk through the city's small, light-filled streets, past fountains and courtyards, and find the Évora Cathedral. Nearby are the Corinthian columns of the Templo Romano, which was a Roman temple that later turned into a medieval fortress and then a slaughterhouse. Then you can go to the famous Igreja Real de São Francisco Church and the Chapel of Bones. These are the top 10 places to visit in Portugal. Thanks for watching. If you like this video, then don't forget to subscribe to our channel to find out more about your dream destinations. Let us know your thoughts and suggestion for our next video in the comments below.